It's a new year, new games, new bets, new money. We're making it all this year. Welcome to Squeeze the Juice. Welcome back for a brand new year. Everything's still rolling the same, but it is 2023 now, and we are going to be squeezing more juice than ever. Evan, how you doing, man?
It's good to be back. 2023 is officially underway, as we all know it. We're already a week in. It's crazy to think about.
Man.
1 week down in the year already. But I'm excited, man. We got the last week of NFL action. We got the national championship game. So much to talk about. So much to get into. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Let's have a good year. And let's start by making some good picks today.
All day, every day. First and foremost, let's run it back.
Right. So we have to run it back. So we were both 3-3 overall last week. I was 1-1 in college, 2-2 in the NFL. Justin was 0-2 in college and 3-1 in the NFL, bringing my total college record up to 22-17. My NFL record 31-28-2, and my overall record sitting at 53-45-2. Still plus 8. We're still cruising. Justin out over here. Sorry. College record 15-22 now.
Ugh.
NFL record 31-27-2.
All right.
Overall 46-49-2. So Justin's got some work to do still.
The tour is still active.
The college games are really throwing you off. You just haven't had a good read on them. For whatever reason this year, it just has evaded you, those games.
I got too feely. I was too emotional when I was picking college games because,
It happens.
it's a little different than the NFL for me. It's so much more self-wanting and biased a little bit. So, yeah, I had times I didn't overcome that. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, speaking of feely, let's start that first semifinal game. Michigan versus TCU. TCU winning 51-45. What a game it was. But we were both on Michigan minus 7.5. I was shocked at the amount of mistakes Michigan made, at the amount of errors that they made, poor play calling. It was one of those games where everything that could go wrong went wrong. And we talked about TCU's got to do like 3 things to really win this game, or 3 things have to happen for them to win this game. I remember it being there's got to be some turnovers on Michigan's end. There's got to be some red zone inefficiency on Michigan's end. There was. And what was TCU able to do? They were able to run the football all day long. And Max Duggan made plays when he had to. It was the perfect storm. And your Wolverines are now
home.
They're home. And what was a really promising year, what I thought was a team that could do it all, could win it all, they're now, I would say, disappointed. I think that's a disappointing year overall. I mean, sure, you won the Big Ten, you beat Ohio State again, but you got to be disappointed with the end result.
Especially the way they were playing. J.J. McCarthy had finally been playing well. He was allowed to be loose, but maybe a little too loose at moments. This kid, he threw that first interception kind of in the Big Ten championship game, and it's like, whoa, that never happens. But he also just kind of ripped it, and it was like near the end of the game, and he was just like, whatever. But 2 pick sixes, that's just, it's one thing to throw 2 interceptions. 2 pick sixes in a game is just unexcusable.
It is, and you had the fumble at the goal line.
That would, which without if Corum was there, that wouldn't have happened.
Right. I mean, I forget who it was, but I'm pretty sure everyone was saying he was a former linebacker. Now he's playing running back. I mean, I think you should get a guy that's had some. I think you should get some guys that had some experience at running back a little bit more. Why isn't Donovan Edwards in? It just made no sense to me. So. Poor decision-making by Jim Harbaugh. I put that loss on Jim Harbaugh, honestly. I don't put it on JJ as much as others do, although he didn't play particularly well, in my opinion. But I think that just all falls on Jim, because if this was the NFL, I think that the coach is getting grilled for the Philly special, getting grilled for the playmaking or play calling because you're putting your players in those positions. I think that's on Jim. I do. Because, look, there's a theme going now. He's lost 6 straight bowl games. It's not...
He's not a postseason man.
Something's going on in these late December, early January games where Michigan and Jim Harbaugh are just not getting it done. And that just ultimately caps your ceiling as a football program. It does.
It was just unfortunate to see because you could argue, and not argue. There's a lot of things that went wrong, but also there were some unfortunate situations. I mean, how you have two what could be touchdowns and you fall like at the half-inch line. That first one was a touchdown. That absolutely was a touchdown. Second one, 100%. Ronnie Bell was down. I agree with that. But it was just like situations like that. Like when you have all that open space and you're throwing like 40-yard dimes and you fall on the inch line.
Yeah.
Like what are the odds of that? But it was just unfortunate. But Michigan did they scored 45 points.
45 points
in the second half, which is crazy. And it's like they definitely are a second half team. We've seen that all season. But when your defense can't even stop them, TCU once in that span,
no,
that was the thing. Because Michigan's defense would always hold up and hold the teams, with under 20 points, and then they could just roll back.
It was big play after big play for TCU. I mean, TCU just every response Michigan had to TCU would just answer back, and it was just like that for the entire second half. And ultimately, you just ran out of time, and that's why you lost the game. Because, truth be told, you got outplayed. And you didn't make enough stops. And that falls on the coaching staff, in my opinion, because I just don't think Michigan looked ready. Like, I don't know what it was, but I think they got kind of hit by it quickly when TCU got the pick six. And then they're up, in the first half. And now, all of a sudden, you're playing behind 2 scores. Look, that's just not the way Michigan has won games this year. And unfortunately for Jim and that program, I don't know when you're going to get a better opportunity to do this, honestly, because in that second game, in that second semifinal game, I think Michigan could easily compete with this Georgia team that now is on to the national championship game.
Yeah, they're a little shaky.
They were. And
we could jump to that next.
Let's jump to it now because, look, I was on the Bucks plus 6.5, and for whatever reason, I said, Ohio State has the talent. They got the speed to do it. And look, you're talking about a team that has a second chance at this. They looked like it. They played so good. C.J. Stroud looked elite for the first time in my opinion, his career. He looked special. Bucks played very well enough to win. Unfortunately, last-second field goal falls way right.
Talk about a dead goose.
And it's tough, man. It's tough. Georgia winning 42-41. You were on the Dogs, minus 6.5. I don't fault you for it. I just felt like this was the game that was going to be entertaining and close, and it was. And it was all of that. So now, I don't know, what are your thoughts on that game? What was your takeaway from that Georgia-Ohio State game?
My takeaway is that all those moments when we saw, like, in the middle of the season when, Georgia might lose right now in Missouri at Missouri, and they come back and survive by a touchdown. I mean, I know there's other ones, and not off the top of my head that I can remember, but like little moments like that throughout the season, like we kind of like realize that even more so now with even better competition. Like Georgia's not, they're still really good, and you could still argue they're number one overall, but they're not as good as we think they are.
No, I kind of agree. I think some other examples maybe, they allowed LSU to score 30 on them in the SEC championship game. Mm-hmm. That's a bit concerning. You're talking about your last two games allowing 41 and 30 points. That's kind of alarming. They struggled offensively versus Kentucky. That was a very low-scoring game. I believe Georgia only scored 19 points in that one off the top of my head. So, yeah, Georgia has not looked like this machine like they did last year, right? Mm-hmm. And truth be told, no college team looked like a machine this year. Like, let's be real. There was no team in college football this season that was an absolute superpower. That's just the way it was. And that's why I think Michigan actually had a really good shot to win it this year. Because, look, if you got Ohio State, if you got Georgia, no matter who you were facing, I think you can match up with them. Unfortunately, though, as we know, Michigan lost. And now we're going to see Georgia, I think, repeat as champions. But, yeah, you're right. They are not the same team. And they're vulnerable for sure. I'm not going to deny that. They are definitely vulnerable. So it was, but let's call it what it is, 2 of the best semifinal games in
absolutely.
college football playoff history. Unreal action back and forth in both games. Usually the championship game is pretty good and you get some, crummy
You get like an okay game and then one's a blowout, right?
This was truly, and that's what makes it exciting, that there was no superpower team, that there was no overly dominant team. You got some really fun, really good football games. I didn't even care, like, after the Michigan game or the Ohio State game that, I was 1-1. Like, I was like, those were 2 great football games.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think we wanted to see more of in the college football playoff. Not a 1-4 blowout, not a 2-3 blowout. We want to see some great games, and I think we're going to see more of that when they expand.
Absolutely, especially after this past season, the way teams have been playing. Like, I talk about the bowl games. Could you imagine, Alabama still in this, Kansas State still in it? I know they got kind of smacked by Bama.
Tulane?
That's what I was about to say next. Even still, USC, Tulane came back, but USC was still playing incredible. There's
great.
So many teams, sneaky Penn State.
They impressed me. I was not expecting. They dominated Utah.
It's so hard for me to they did play well. It's hard for me to accept it when Cam Rising got hurt again. That guy is a complete difference maker.
It's so unfortunate. But
both Rose Bowls.
It doesn't matter. I know Penn State has a young stud quarterback. He's going to be very good next year. Mm-hmm. But when you have Katron Allen and Nick Singleton,
those boys in the back,
that's like putting Saquon Barkley and Miles Sanders back together. That's what it feels like, because those 2 were on a team at one point. Those are 2. I mean, Saquon, that's a Hall of Fame talent. Miles Sanders is a really good NFL running back. That's what it feels like in Penn State right now. Katron Allen and Nick Singleton are probably a little bit more closely comparable as opposed to Saquon and Miles, but you get it. Like, Penn State football and that running game, it's back. Like, it's back. And they're, in my opinion, depending on what Ohio State does at QB, Penn State could be the team to beat in the Big Ten. They could.
This is Penn State, y'all. We're back.
Yes. I think so. I don't know. I think they have a good shot at winning the Big Ten next year.
I agree. As long as that defense maintains, I know they're going to lose Joey Porter and probably another one of their defensive linemen, but they always got recruits coming in. People love Penn State.
He knows how to recruit. It's just been about the X's and O's. I think you're seeing the program take a step forward, and shout out Manny Diaz too. Horrible at Miami, but he's been great as a DC at Penn State. That run defense has been phenomenal. So we will see that in the future. It's going to be an exciting Big Ten season coming up next year.
Absolutely.
But now it's all about Georgia and TCU. We'll get into that momentarily. But NFL games, let's quickly round these out.
Go ahead.
Colts at Giants. Giants destroyed them. I don't know what I was thinking. Nick Foles sucks. Sam Ehlinger sucks. Justin was on the G-Men -5.5. Bears at Lions. Lions with the response. You knew they had it in them. 41-10. We were both on the Lions -6. Browns at Commanders. 2 words for you. Carson Wentz, 3 interceptions. He was terrible. Browns winning 24-10. Justin was on the Commanders. I was on the Browns.
That was a pick 'em.
It was. And then in the 4 o'clock window, Jets at Seahawks. Seahawks destroying the Jets. Mike White. I'm done with Mike White. I'm done with the Jets. They did not show up for me. Seahawks won 23-6. Justin was on the Seahawks at +1.5. I was on the Jets -1.5.
I said it once and I'll say it again. Jets. No, UGLY, because that's how they are, and that is their quarterback. I like Mike White more so. Zach Wilson, 100%. But the Jets are the Jets, man. They got a decent future.
They're Derek Carr way. They're Derek Carr way for me to playoff team. They're Derek Carr way for me to playoff team.
We'll be talking about that in the offseason.
We will. But that's it from last week. Once again, 3-3 for both of us.
Woo.
I was 53-45-2. Justin was 46-49-2.
Yes, sir.
Let's get on to episode 13 here with our picks. I'm excited. We got a good one.
I know. All right. Here we go. The 2023 National Championship for college football is here, and it is a doozy. We got the boys, those Horned Frogs, and Max Duggan against Georgia and them Bulldogs, Stetson the Mailman, Jalen Carter. The Dogs versus the Frogs out in L.A.
Look, this is a championship game I don't think anyone expected. I don't think anyone had TCU winning this game, but here they are. We know what the teams did last week. It was tremendous. We just talked about tremendous up and down performance from both teams. But look, now you're looking at this game, 12.5 points. Okay, that's a lot of points. Mm-hmm. TCU, after beating Michigan, now getting a lot of public love. 88% of the bets on TCU per the Action Network. Look, my issue with TCU is that they turned the ball over 3 times and got pretty fortunate getting 2 pick sixes and a fumble at the goal line to negate what they did on the offensive side of the ball, which was the 3 turnovers. I think you look at Georgia, they aren't going to make the same mistakes that Michigan made. And when you match up Ohio State with Georgia, who has the athletes, they have the speed, they have the talent, you can understand why that was such a close game. TCU has talent, they have speed, but I don't think they have as much of that as Ohio State does. And while I'm concerned, surely, about Georgia's defense, I think getting through that Ohio State game, coming out with a victory in nail-biting, gut-wrenching fashion. Look, they're out of the woods now. I think you see the Georgia team that slammed the door shut on Tennessee earlier in the year, really just showed up, looked dominant, and kind of put Tennessee in a chokehold. I think you get the same kind of performance from Georgia. I like Georgia in this game, minus 12.5. I just think it's the side to lean. Like, I think TCU is a good story. Great upset in the semifinal, but championship pedigree, championship mindset, and you got a winner in Stetson Bennett. So it's up with the dogs this week. I'm on Georgia minus 12.5.
Kirby's gonna get his dogs barking on defense. He don't play no games when it comes to that. He was the man at Bama. He took over Georgia. He's still the man. Let me throw some interesting stats at you.
Hit me with them.
I went a little back in history, okay? The beginning of the college football playoffs, all right? Championship games. First game, Ohio State, Oregon, decided by 22 points. Second game, these were closer. Alabama beat Clemson by 6. Next year, Clemson beat Alabama by 4. Year after that, the crazy one, Alabama beat Georgia by 3 in overtime. But since then, you got Clemson 44-16 against Bama. LSU 42-25 against Clemson. Alabama 52-24 against Ohio State. And Georgia 33-18 against Alabama last year. I mean, these teams, if they're winning it, they're winning. They're putting on a show.
Yeah, it has not been close as of late in the championship game.
Absolutely
which is
not.
Wild to think, especially with some of the teams you mentioned. Like,
I know, and it's all been Georgia and Alabama and Clemson pretty much
for the most part.
Ohio State poking in and out,
throwing in LSU with Joe Burrow.
That team is so insane. But it was just interesting to look back at that. Most these games, especially the past 4 years or of recent, have been smackdowns. And the fact that they've been smackdowns, like you said, with these big names, and you got Georgia TCU? Are you kidding me?
I mean,
I know Georgia looked a little suspect against Ohio State, and we could have been a field goal away at midnight away from seeing a TCU Ohio State championship game, but it's crazy, man. I mean, both teams are almost averaging the same, about 40 points a game. The difference is on the season, Georgia's averaging a lot. Defense is allowing around 12 points, where TCU 25. But we know how it works in the Big 12. The air raid offense, it's all offense, not really defense. But the defense did show out against Michigan, and it was crazy to see. But I agree with you. The championship pedigree, the Kirby Smart defense, they're not just called the dogs for a reason.
Right.
Duggan, I love Max Duggan. I'd be absolutely happy to see him win a championship and hold that trophy. It'd be great to see. Sonny Dykes, meh. But I'm going with the dogs, man.
I like it. I think we're on the right side of it. Everyone is betting TCU. They're saying 12.5 is way too much. We just saw them compete with Michigan. We just saw Ohio State hold Georgia close. That's what everyone's thinking. That's what that's what everyone in Vegas is telling. Like, they're telling you, pick TCU. But look, it's about. You had the stats. It's about that championship mindset, and certain teams know how to win in these games. And when they do win, it's by 2 scores. So yeah, I like the side that we're on. And look, let's do it, man. Let's go Dogs. And look, we're gonna be barking all night long on Monday night. So let's continue this fun time. Georgia back to back. It's bound to happen.
It is, and Kirby knows what's on the line. The value of a back-to-back championship in recruiting, Georgia legacy, his legacy, thoughts against Georgia versus Bama. There's a lot of value in the win like this, and to have and hoist a trophy out in LA. What a time! What a time!
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great for Kirby and that program.
Yeah,
they are absolutely on fire right now, and I don't know when it's going to end. I mean, maybe they have a little bit of a setback next year. They're losing a lot of guys, especially their main man, it's Stetson Bennett. But Georgia just reloads. They're just going to keep reloading.
Even if they're off a year. Some teams, they got to reboot, get it together, so we'll see. But Georgia ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Nope. Absolutely not. But it's interesting because, most of the season when you're betting with the spread, TCU's the favorable compared to Georgia.
TCU's had a really good year covering the spread, but I just think this is one of those games where that doesn't happen. It's got a Baylor feel to it. It's got a little bit of a Baylor feel to it.
I know. I'm a little concerned, but I think Georgia absolutely wins no matter what.
You think 12.5 is a big number, and then you just look at the championship games, and then you look at what Georgia has been doing for most of the season, and it's been dominating. Like, they've had a couple of games where they kind of took their foot off the gas pedal, but I think they have a really, really good game. And I just think TCU, it's a great story. It's impressive. It's remarkable that they got here. But I just think
you're going against the Dogs.
I just think it's really hard to bet against Georgia here in a game where they know what to do. They've been here so many times.
Third time's the charm, man.
I think it's just a little too much for TCU. I thought the semifinal would be a little too much for them. I was wrong, but I do think this moment is just a little too big. And if they win, then my God, we got a story. We got a story to tell.
Story of the year. Story of the year. I don't know what else to say, my friend, but I had one thing I was going to say, and I can't remember what I was going to say. Maybe it'll come back to me later. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Bum, 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 bum. Dang it, I can't think of what I was going to say.
That's okay. That's okay. We got some NFL games to get to.
Yeah, rip it.
So, it's all good.
All right. On to the NFL. Game 1. Crazy, ugly slate, but we love it here this week.
It is
First
so
game
ugly.
Is Texans at Colts. Talk about the bottomless pit of a game. It is Colts minus 2.5 at home against the Texans. A lot on the line, man.
There's a big game. Like it. I know you're looking at
these garbage.
You're looking at Texans and Colts. You're like, how is this on the schedule? But look, this is a massive game. This has massive implications on the draft. It does. I mean, look, this is a really for me. It's just such an easy game for me to pick because Houston has to lock up number 1 overall. They have to lose. They cannot win. If they win and Chicago loses, Chicago gets 1. And I think Houston wants to have that control. They need to have that control because if they're going to take a franchise guy, because let's face it, their quarterback play this year has been horrible, whether it's Levis, whether it's Stroud, whether it's Bryce Young, they need 1. They need to make sure that they get 1, that no one trades up to 1. They need to have 1 and lock it down. I know the Colts look awful. They look sluggish.
And you know who's starting? Who's starting this weekend? Do you know who?
I'm pretty sure it's Sam Ehlinger.
It is.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, the Colts, wow, they've been horrible all season long. I just think they find a way to win it, and they find a way to cover the spread, and they do it for Jeff Saturday. It's going to be his last game as an NFL coach. It's going to be Sam Ehlinger's last game as an NFL starter for sure because he's looked horrible, but I think he finds a way to get it done against the Texans. These are 2 teams that are going to be drafting a quarterback. You can bet on it, or at least having a different quarterback starting under center next year. I'm not saying the Texans intentionally tank, but I don't know. The public's 50-50 split on this game. I just think you side with the home team. You take the team that doesn't have something to lose if they win this game. Look, if the Colts go from 5-6, 5-7, whatever the case may be. I don't think that's as damning as the Texans going from 1-2. The Texans know they have to lose this game. They may cover, but I think they have to lose, and I'm just going to take the team that I feel like is going to win, and that's the Colts. So Colts -2.5 for me.
I get you, man. I mean, we're potentially, if this was a matchup next year, we're potentially looking at a Texans team led by Bryce Young and a Colts team maybe led by Will Levis, potentially. And, yeah, there's a lot on the line. Jeff Saturday, Colts, last game of the season, home. They could still also slip lower in the draft, though, too. I think it's less of an advantage to them because they're going to kind of be in the same situation whether they win this game or not. So it's more about pride at this point, kind of just like a pride game. But will Houston sell? Will they sell this game?
I mean, I feel like they are just doing it unintentionally. I mean, their quarterback play is horrible. You have Jeff Driscoll and Davis Mills. Like, I think it's really hard to make an argument that Houston is going to win this game when those two are the starting QBs. Like, come on. Like, I gave Davis Mills a chance at the beginning of the season. I thought he had an impressive rookie year. Like, I was like, you know what? This guy came in and performed. They got some wins. But now, after a whole nother season, it's clear he doesn't have NFL talent. They need to lock up one. It's not a joke. It's not like last year where...
You think the Bears are going to take a QB, though?
No, but I'm saying another team might trade up to get one. Like, if Houston has one, they're not trading that pick. Like, they're locking in at
the
one.
Bears could.
The Bears could trade it and get more capital. Let's say, let's say,
maybe
let's say, let's do this. Let's say the Colts call up Chicago because they lost to Houston, and the Colts are like, we want one, we want our guy. And the Colts offer up, first and a second and a future first. They can do that. Like, that's realistic.
Colts got the bag on them.
So if the Colts want their guy and Chicago has one, Indianapolis can say, we'll give you this for one. They can't do that with Houston because Houston's not going to trade within the division, especially giving up the number one pick. And Houston at one, they need their franchise guy. So yeah, Houston has way more to lose by winning this game. That's why I'm going with the Colts. That's literally all it is.
I'll make it short and sweet. Call me crazy.
Oh, boy.
I think the Texans win this game, baby.
That's a mistake.
I think they
you're
do.
Not making a mistake. I'm not saying
it's a mistake on them.
It's a mistake on them. They cannot win this game.
I think they win this game.
It's
I think
not like
Sam
last year.
Ehlinger can't do it. I think the Texans are better. I know they tied that first ugly game of the season, I think it was. That was disgusting to watch. But I think they do. I don't think they mean to, but I think they just play better. I think they're just going to play better, and it's an unfortunate situation, but I have nothing else to say.
It's not like last year where there was no franchise guy at QB. Like, look, you had Aiden Hutchinson, you had Trayvon Walker, you had Kayvon Thibodeau, you had Sauce Gardner, Derek Stingley. Like, that was your top five. There was no quarterback taken last year. There was nothing to trade up for. Now, there's something to trade up for because whether we like it or not, a quarterback is going one. Like, someone is taking a QB at one. Whether you like the guy going at one, that's your prerogative. Someone's going at one. A quarterback is going at one, and it better be to Houston, or else Houston is completely fumbling this draft. I'm telling you right now, they are fumbling this draft if they lose this game.
Enough said. On to the next.
These two terrible teams, they got enough screen time.
All right. Ugly but not so ugly game number 2. Browns at Steelers -2.5. This is kind of a good. It's not too bad of a game. Like,
no.
Compared to recent past, we've been seeing a little bit of life out of both teams recently.
Right.
Especially the Steelers, some game-winning drives by the rookies. I don't know, just a lot of positivity on the side of the Steelers. I know the Deshaun Watson's been a little bit better after last week, against the Commanders. Was the Commanders, but maybe a little positivity for the Browns, moving. I know they probably would like to close the season with a win and just move on to next season, especially after all that they've been through this year. But also a lot on the line for Tomlin, kind of, another winning season for him.
Yeah, that's on the line. And look, the Steelers have a lot to play for. They can still make the postseason if the Patriots and the Dolphins lose. So Yeah, I'm right there with you. Really, I mean, this is a massive game for Pittsburgh, and look, these are two defenses that have been playing lights out lately. You got Cleveland allowing just 10 points per game in the last 3, Pittsburgh allowing 13 points per game in the last 3. They're on their games. I haven't liked what I've seen a ton from these offenses, but Pittsburgh especially, like when the lights are brightest, when they got to make a play in the fourth quarter, Kenny Pickett is making that play right now, and amid all the struggles they've had offensively, and I think it's a bit outdated, and Matt Canada certainly has to go. They found ways to win, and it's through their defense and it's through their running game. Look, say what you want about Mike Tomlin. He's just one of those elite all-time coaches, just knows how to win games, especially late in the year when you need him most. I just cannot pick against him in this game with a 500 record streak on the line. That defense is playing well. They're at home. It's tough for me to pick because I do think Cleveland has a little bit more of like a tantalizing side to this game. Like I kind of like Cleveland a little bit more, but I'm just telling myself, I'm forcing myself to pick Pittsburgh here because I'm not picking against Mike Tomlin when this 500 record is on the line and when they're at home with playoffs on the line. So I'm going with Pittsburgh minus 2.5.
And when there's 2 minutes left on the clock, Kenny Pickett is just out in that cold air looking at George Pickens. They're down 20-14, and they got to march down that field 80 yards with 2 minutes left to get a touchdown, kick an extra point, and win the game. And then you're like, crap, because the Browns would have been the better pick in that moment?
That's what I'm feeling.
That's what you're concerned about?
I am concerned about that. But
You've seen it happen. I got screwed on Thanksgiving or whatever because of the Raiders.
I'm feeling like a low scoring, like 17-14, like something like that, like under 35 total points. Like that's just what I'm feeling.
60-yard pass, Pickett to Pickens.
Please.
And then 40-yard field goal for the win. And they win by 3 in that moment, 17-14.
Yes.
I'm with you on the Steelers too, man. I mean, this is setting up for everything. Tomlin knows what's riding on this. He ain't dumb. He gonna be playing it cool, but he knows the value of it. And like you said, also they still have something to play for. Not just the record. They have, if things fall right, a playoff shot.
For real. And look, Cleveland, I'm a little bit concerned because Jadeveon Clowney got sent home today because he informed the team, I'm not going to be here next year. Pulled the Magic Johnson. I'm not going to be here next year. That was Jadeveon Clowney today at practice. He's been dismissed from the team. So it feels like where the Steelers have a close-knit family group, Cleveland's kind of like every guy for himself. Like that's just kind of the attitude I'm getting from them right now. And
jump off the sinking ship.
For real. And in the last game of the season, I think you got to have that tight-knit, close group. That's how you win a close game like this. That's how you win a defensive game. And look, Cleveland played well last week against the Commanders, but we know that's because Carson Wentz was the quarterback. I told you. 3 interceptions. I mean, and they were bad. They were bad interceptions. I wasn't that impressed with. I mean, they played well, but I wasn't like overly impressed with Cleveland. I knew Carson Wentz was going to screw that game up for the Commanders, and well, he did. So Pittsburgh minus 2.5. I like that we're both on it.
Ride it, book it. You're welcome, Drew. If you're watching, you probably are. Actually, might be listening. Drew's more of a listener, I feel. Him and Jeff. Game 3. Our boys are in Buffalo after a tough week for the Bills with one of the most, not in a positive way, but most incredible injuries we've ever seen happen in moments. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
No.
With Damar Hamlin, prayers, shout out to him. He's doing a lot better. He's really been progressing out of the week, so that's great to see. Everything
that's been reported has been positive since really it kind of just happened. He's awake now, breathing on his own, communicating with doctors, family, the team. All signs are pointing up. Complete neurological functionality. It's just awesome to hear. It really was. It was scary. It was gut-wrenching. I was in shock. I'm just, we continue to pray, continue to hope that the good news continues with Damar. And we've seen a lot of good come out of it. The toy drive is now, I think it's over $8 million donated.
Crazy.
And I think he's okay. From what we're hearing, it sounds like he's okay. And hopefully not that his football future is the biggest concern right now, but it would be awesome to see him on the field at one point again if he's able to. Just that reception and that warm welcome that he would receive. But that's obviously not the concern right now.
Yeah.
Concern is just him getting healthy again, his organs getting back, and just really being able to
live his life.
Yeah. I mean, it's so much bigger than football. And, we're obviously so grateful that, it looks like he's going to be okay.
It's a good thing to see. It's a good thing to see. And it'll be interesting to see, how is Buffalo gonna adjust to this,
How does it impact them?
Yeah, how does it impact them? Are they still gonna be kind of shaky? Are they gonna be a little more positive in a sense and be like, all right, our guy's good. Let's go play for him. Let's go, win another game. Let's go win. Let's go win it all for this. Let's go win it all for him. Things like this are horrible to see, but so they flip a switch sometimes on teams, and they just start and they just get them juiced up and they get them rolling, and you never know what to expect. They also might be thinking in the back of their minds about the the dismiss of the Cincinnati game, this like the game in general from Monday, but we don't know. We don't know how they're gonna come out. Patriots still fighting.
Look, the Pats are in a win-and-in scenario here, so they got to go to Orchard Park, obviously, and they got to win on the road. And we know the offense is miserable. We've had our complaints, we've had our concerns. I think this is a game where New England knows what they need to do, and you're getting an emotional Bills team. I do think what happened to Damar Hamlin, although tragic, can be an inspiration for Buffalo. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if this is the game where you see it, because I think Buffalo's main task at hand is make sure everyone gets through this game healthy for the postseason, and they're able to make a full playoff push. You don't want to go into this game a little too over-emotional, too, wearing your heart on your sleeve, and then you do something that hurts the team, or you do something that hurts yourself because you're playing with a little too much passion, a little too much emotion. Well, emotion is great. We love it. That's what pushes athletes to do this.
Yeah.
But there is a line that can be crossed where you try to do too much, or you try to make a hit because you're trying, you're trying to do it for
get the best of you.
Right, you're trying to do it for Damar, and then out of nowhere, you do something to your body. It's totally
targeting situation.
Exactly. So you don't want to put yourself in a bad situation, and the Bills don't want to put their players in that situation either, where they feel like they have to have the game of their life as a response to to show Damar their love and appreciation. Damar, he knows it. Like they don't need to risk anything. That's what
that's just 50 to.
Yeah, that's just what I'm trying to say. Like they don't need to do something irresponsible really in this game. The Bills can totally take care of business playing Buffalo Bill football, and they can beat the Patriots handedly. But with that being said, I think the Patriots can keep this game close. I don't really think anyone wants to bet the Patriots right now. We've seen them play. It hasn't been pretty, and we know what's going on with Buffalo and Damar. Everyone's going to be betting an emotional Bills team. Everyone's going to be betting on the side of the home team in response to what has been happening. And I think a New England team that needs this game, embarrassed last year after what happened against the Bills in Orchard Park, I think they play fired up. Not saying they win, but I think they can keep this within a touchdown. The defense has to show up. That's the only way they have a shot in this game. I think it can. So I am not laying the 7 with Buffalo. I'm going to take New England +7. Not saying the Pats win, but I think they can cover.
It's crazy. The Pats need to win, and then they need losses by the Dolphins, Titans, and Steelers.
Oh, the Pats win, they're in.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah. Yep, that is confirmed. That they're in a win and in scenario, but...
or, my apologies, I read my notes wrong. Because they need win and in, or if they lose, they need all those three teams to lose.
Yep, they would need all those teams to lose.
That's crazy. And I mean, we're like, I don't know if that's going to happen because we got the Steelers.
No, they need to win this game if they want to be in. I don't want to backdoor at 8 and 9.
And I don't know how things are going to happen, Dolphins versus... And the thing is, all those could happen, though. Dolphins versus Jets. If you need the Dolphins to lose, Tua's not playing.
Joe Flacco is playing for the Jets. If you trust him.
And then you need the Titans to lose? Trevor Lawrence and the Jags are playing. They've actually been playing pretty well.
I can see that happening, and I can see Cleveland beating.
I mean, Josh
Pittsburgh
Dobbs
still.
wasn't playing bad for the Titans, but I don't know, man. And then the Browns, it's still a possibility. We think
Totally.
the Steelers are more of a lock, but
No,
that's still all
that's a close
possible.
game. That's a close spread. I think there's an opportunity for all the teams to lose, but I don't want to play that game either. Like, I want to see New England win this game.
Like how the Packers need to be winning in.
Exactly. I want to see New England win this game. I know it's unlikely, and you're playing an inspired Buffalo group. I mean, let's not kid about it. Like, they are going to play inspired football.
Of course.
But so is New England. I mean, let's not count out the Patriots.
Bill knows the value.
They have something to play for in this game too. Like, Buffalo, I think their main goal, in my opinion, is just make sure they get out of this game with no one getting hurt, no one trying to do too much and hurting themselves. Just
a safe win.
A safe win. Like, that's what Buffalo wants. It's just, is New England going to allow that?
Are they
and I don't think so.
Playing dirt, like, are they going to come in and start swinging?
I think they have to play with a little passion, a little emotion, and play with a physicality that has at times evaded them on offense, especially. Like, I think defensively they brought it all season long. Sometimes it can be a little shaky, but offensively, just haven't seen it, and I want to see it so bad. And I think
we know why
they can do it in this game. Yep, we do know why.
And I think that this game should be a make or break for that man. We know, inside, on the inside. Before I close this, I'm with you on the Pats. I don't know if you thought I was on the Bills. I'm with you on the Pats.
No, I was waiting to hear what you had to say, honestly.
I mean, I agree. Could be a little too emotional. I think the Bills could win like 2014 or like a 23-17 kind of win. But I agree. The Bill will have them ready. It's gonna be an emotional game. They got things to play for. This isn't just a crap game, you know. But I don't think I agree. I don't necessarily think Patriots win because everyone's gonna be like the value of the Bills win is so much more,
right?
Which it is, but I think the Patriots can do this. I think they could win it, but I think they do cover. I think it's close, but I do think they cover.
And with the seeding all messed up now in the AFC,
yeah,
it's
that's
like
crazy.
It's like, I mean, Buffalo definitely wants to win, and if they do win, it's important still for the new seeding like contingencies. But
so
at the end of the day, this game means a lot more to New England than it does Buffalo, and I think that plays a role. But we're both on the Pats. It's nice to see. I mean,
closing the season with our boys.
I mean, you got to. It's
Yeah.
hard to lay Buffalo minus a touchdown after they just blew out New England the last time they played. Like, you feel like the second time around it could be a little bit closer.
Yeah, especially just with everything that's been happening. But we're riding with our boys. Patriots potential last game this season. Hopefully not, but
We'll see.
not a horrible year. Not a great year, but not a horrible year for the boys.
No, it was a bad year.
All right, talking about a bad game.
But important nonetheless.
Extremely important, especially for us.
Yes.
We got the Rams in Seattle. It is -6 Seahawks. I don't even know what to think. I was really sitting scratching my head at this game because huge win for Seattle if they get this. Rams lose, helps the Lions draft stock. There's really no benefit to the Rams in general for themselves here in this game. Aside from maybe a little pride, maybe something a little for Baker, maybe confidence for Sean McVay himself, being like, maybe I won't leave.
That's all true.
Maybe Aaron Donald won't retire.
That's all true. Look, this is one of those games where one team has everything to play for and the other team really has nothing to play for. But I look at this game, a Bobby Wagner revenge game? Question mark?
He's talking. He said, I'm going to let him know.
I mean,
the team that gave up on me.
For real. Look, Seattle barely survived against the Rams the first time they played. It came down to the last minute. Look, I think, and that was with John Wofford at quarterback, too.
I was totally thinking that.
So I do think there's something to be said about the Rams and their ability to run the football as of late, too. I've liked what I've seen from Cam Akers. He's looked a little bit rejuvenated. They're up to 5 yards per carry in the last 3. 132 yards per game in the last 3 as well. Crazy. Look, that wasn't happening earlier in the year. They could not run the football to save their lives. Now they're finding a little bit of ground game, a little bit of a rushing attack, and that's big because that's what Baker Mayfield needs. He needs a complemented running game to support his rather limited abilities with his arm. On top of that, Seattle's allowing 4.8 yards per carry in the season, so that bodes well for the Rams' rushing attack.
Their rushing attack is awful in Seattle.
I think there's something to be said, again, about Baker Mayfield. He has a little bit of attitude. He's got a little bit of willpower, a little bit of swagger, and I think they needed that. There was no energy coming from John Walford. There's no energy coming from Bryce Perkins, but Baker brings that. Like, he's got that it factor. Not that he does, and it's not like it translates to wins or it doesn't translate to impressive stats on the field or arm talent, but it's just like he's got that in him. Like, he does, and sometimes it rubs people the wrong way. Sometimes it doesn't. Look, Seattle had a great game against the Jets, but I still think that the wheels have fallen off the wagon there. I think they completely collapse in this one. I think you take Rams +6. I know it's a must-win game for Seattle, and I think they're going to find themselves in a very close game here. I think they are not prepared for what LA is going to bring. I think LA responds after their poor performance against the Chargers. Not saying the Rams win, but I like this. I like +6 a lot. So does the public. 74% per Action Network on the Rams, which is a little scary. But yeah,
I hate the public.
I think the Rams can get it done. I think they can win. Not saying they do, but I think they can win. It is not going to be easy to ignore and silence Baker Mayfield. I think he's got one more game left in him. He's played for his career.
That's true.
If he comes out the win and he plays well, who knows what can happen with his career. But he needs it. He needs it more than anyone else in the NFL probably right now to solidify a shot at maybe starting somewhere or at least competing for a starting job somewhere.
Both teams are 2-3 in their last 5. The shocking win against Denver, 51-14 on Christmas Day. Are you kidding me? That was nuts. But then they fumbled the bag, but it was against the Chargers. We know the Chargers are more legit. They're the hometown team. This is like Clippers versus Lakers. One's good and one's okay, It just depends on the day. I picked Seattle last week, and boy, did they slang that thing.
They played well.
But it was against the Jets. They're trash. They have no vengeance against them. This isn't that last week wasn't the last game of the season. Bobby Wagner is going to be coming for Geno. He might even go and tackle Pete Carroll on the sidelines. We saw some troubles he had with that fan who ran on the field earlier this year.
Bobby doesn't play.
Bobby does not play. Bobby don't play no games. I want to pick Seattle. I think it's a smart choice. But sometimes trusting Seattle, you might get burned. You know where else you get burned? In the kitchen. What do you do in that kitchen?
You bake.
And what does Baker do?
Baker cooks.
Yes, sir.
Baker cooks.
I'm on the Rams with you, +6, my friend.
Go. Rams, baby. Baker Mayfield. He's getting it done. I'm loving that pick. I'm loving that pick.
You didn't expect it.
I didn't expect
Earlier
it.
today, just like, pick your stupid Seahawks. And
pick your Seahawks. I'm out of here.
The Legion of Boom has become the Legion of Doom, and they need some help. Sorry, my friends in Seattle. I don't have any friends in Seattle, but sorry.
All about the LA Rams. Look, you got it right though. You got it right. Bobby Wagner's coming out. Baker they have something to play for individually. They all have their individual reasons why they want to win this game. Why they want to show it to Seattle. Seattle as a team, as a collective, they're saying we got to win this game. That puts pressure on you. But what do the Rams have? They have nothing to lose. Baker's playing for his career. Bobby's playing for his revenge on Seattle for giving up on him. And Sean McVay is playing that pride. I'm a jerk. Shove it, Pete Carroll. I'm still the guy. And I think the Rams probably want to end on a win to
just be positive on the air.
Yeah, throw away this game in the not this game, but throw away the season. It happened. It was bad. But you know what? We're getting some guys back healthy next year. We'll have some more draft picks, more so than we've had in past years, even though they won't have their first. and maybe they have something to look forward to next year in a positive direction. And it starts with the win in the final week. So
Absolutely.
I love it. I love that we're on it. Let's bake, baby. Let's bake.
It's hot in here, folks. As an old friend of mine once said, he's not really a friend of mine. All right. On to the last game.
McConaughey.
Oh, Matthew. Last game.
You know what it is.
Prime time. They gave it to us only because of Green Bay, though.
That's facts.
Because it's stupid.
That's facts.
Lions in Green Bay, Lambeau, Sunday night. Playoff implications on the line across the board. It is the Packers minus 4.5.
Yes, sir.
And I'll tell you what, Evan. I'm going to give this to you because you want to know why? I don't even need to say nothing. Look at my notes. Look at these notes. That's all I got right here. My notes are just Jamal shaking that thing in the end zone. You know who I'm taking in this game. If you think I'm not taking the Lions, you're out of your mind.
Oh, my God. I love it, man. I love it. Jamal, hip thrust. We love to see it.
Find me, baby.
I'm all about it. Look, I'm going to give it to you straight. Irrespective of whether the Lions play on Sunday Night Football with a win in your in scenario or if they're playing as the spoiler, they're going to be motivated to show up and play because that's what Dan Campbell has instilled in this Lions team, in this culture. It's not about the end result. It's about the game at hand, and it's about, okay, how do we build success as a team? How do we build each other? How do we grow? That's what Dan Campbell's all about, and that's what you've seen. How do we improve? And it's not only that a winning record is on the line. It's not only that these players want to spoil the Green Bay game, but it's about beating Aaron Rodgers, an arch rival on the road where everyone isn't giving you a chance. That's what it's about. And whether you make the playoffs or not, whether the Rams beat the Seahawks or not, finishing with a winning record, just finishing with a win, really, that speaks volumes. And that is what this team is going to be destined to do. I'm right there with you. Now, whether you believe in professional rivalries, whether you think these players really care about what Rodgers has said about them, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The Lions are going to be ready to go. They're going to be motivated to play. And look, you can give me the pack of him run the ball well lately. You can give me the pack of him playing good defense. You can give me it's on the frozen tundra. You can give me it's Rodgers in December or in January. Whatever. I'm throwing it all out the window. I don't care. You got a team in Detroit that has risen from the ashes at 1-6. They're now 8-8 with a chance to finish 9-8. A chance to put an exclamation point on the season. Give me that Jamal Williams hip thrust. I'm about Lions plus 4.5. It is all day. Detroit. It's not just Detroit with the Lions. America's with the Lions. The world is with the Lions. It is Detroit plus 4.5. Let's go, boys. You know what
I am in awe. Let me tell you one thing. When you look at the G for the Packers, people don't give a crap about anybody, but all they think is Aaron Rodgers. Now, when you see the Lions, what do you think of? One pride, one team, one standard, one goal. They ride for one another. Packers, Aaron Jones, he's probably a 50-50 rider for Aaron Rodgers.
I'm out. I'm out on the Packers. You got me absolutely tripping if you think I'm taking the Packers in this game. And you know what? You know what? The public is on the Lions too. 58% of the public per the Action is on Detroit. Nobody in the national media pundits, nobody is picking the Lions to win this game. You got people on Twitter, on ESPN, on podcasts,
CBS.
YouTube, whatever you want to. Yeah, CBS, whatever.
Fox.
They're all picking the Packers. Nobody. And you can watch on Sunday Night Football. You might get Tony Dungy picking the Lions. You might get Mike Tirico picking the Lions. Everyone, for the most part, is going to be picking the Packers on the Sunday, on the icon we see. Who's your pick? It's going to be all of that stupid green G logo. But there's a team from little Detroit, Michigan that's coming in to little bitty Lambeau Field. and they're going to win this game. It's all about Lions plus 4.5. I might take Lions money line, but right now, Lions plus 4.5. I'm all about it.
A true team, not from Rosario, but from the streets of Detroit, heading into Lambeau. One nation on their backs.
Is this a little Peter Drury?
Yeah.
I love it, baby.
One pride, one roar. Let a nation hear him.
If you don't watch the Prem or if you haven't watched any FIFA and you don't hear his beautiful, majestic voice, Peter Drury, he needs to be calling one of these games.
Literally.
We need to get him in an NFL game. Oh, my God, it would be unreal. But, yeah, I love that we're on the Lions. It was inevitable, right?
Obviously.
It was inevitable. I have not picked the Lions. Like, I was close in the first game against the Packers.
You haven't not picked
the
Lions since...
I don't think I've strayed away.
I think there was only one, maybe 2 times, like the first 2 times we did this, that you would have not picked them. Because you picked them, they lost. But then the week after that, I said pick them again, and that was against the Packers. Yeah. And then you've been riding.
I'm within sense. But I was close to picking the Panthers, and I should have.
Yeah,
and I knew
fair.
it. And I knew it, but I
get punched.
I let my fandom get ahead of me. This is all guts right here. I think the Lions do it. I do. I think they get this done. I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling, even if we don't make the playoffs, I think they just get it done.
Hey, man, a win here is worth everything.
And you know what? If they win, that means, and the Rams lose, we got a better draft pick, and we get to end the season on a high note, and we got so much to look forward to in the 2023 season.
Golf
Division champs. I wouldn't. I mean, I'll put it to you right now. Division champs. I think that's a guarantee, and I think this is one of the 4 best teams in the NFC for sure next year. Maybe top 3. That's just the way I see it right now with the Detroit Lions. Like that's just where I'm
using
at.
Those picks to load up that defense. Goff wins in the cold. Give him a little boost. Trust the squad. Trust the boys.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see it.
Those Lions tickets are going up next year.
I agree. All right, let's run it down.
Run it down.
We talked about the college football playoff. We talked about week 17, but now we got our national championship pick. We're both on Georgia minus 12.5. Believe it or not, it's all about the dogs. Sorry, TCU. We love you. Well, maybe not Justin, but shout out to you for ruining.
I like TCU. I used to rock a TCU hoodie all the time in high school, and my dad spilled bleach on it, and then I was upset. But I used to wear it. It's gone now.
It's true.
But I used to rock it. I used to rock a TCU
but
hoodie.
Shout out to them for ruining Michigan season. We appreciate that from all of us at Spartan Nation. All right, NFL though. Texans at Colts. Justin is on the Texans.
Call me crazy.
And I'm on the Colts minus 2.5.
They're going to be stupid.
Browns at Steelers. Me and Justin both on the Steelers minus 2.5. Patriots at Bills. We are both on the Patriots plus 7. That is, I hate that pick, but whatever. Patricia makes me want to.
He needs to go. Him and Matt Canada can go hug together in the offseason.
For real. Rams at Seahawks. We are both on the Rams plus 6. And then in the finale, Sunday Night Football, can't believe the Lions are on it. But Lions at Packers, we are both on Detroit plus 4.5.
So we are only different on one of the 6 games.
And it's the Colts at Texans.
Worth, you could argue, kind of a lot. More than a lot of these games.
For real. Like, there's a good chance that game has more of an impact than any of these games, besides probably Lions and Packers.
Yeah,
because if the Packers win,
moment.
Yeah, because if the Packers win, they are in. But
and then it all means nothing.
Right. So we'll see how it goes down. But a little bit of a fun little throw in too. Michigan is at the Breslin Center in East Lansing, taking on the Spartans in basketball. Today, lines have not been out yet, but you can guarantee Tom Izzo is going to have the boys buzzing. The Breslin is going to be rocking. Whatever the spread is, take Michigan State. They're going to win by double digits. It is all Sparty. It is going to be all Sparty.
It's unfortunate, but I agree with them. Michigan basketball is... You can't just slide in past 5-star recruits or 5-star recruits and then have them leave you after a year and not build a team. It's not how you do it. Juwan Howard, you spent like 40 years in the NBA. You helped coach, too. You should know what to do. We
Right.
should know what to do.
So-
maybe he needs to be in the back of the NBA. No
You can send- you can send him.
disrespect. No disrespect. He's a great guy, great legend, Michigan. He's done great things, but
For real.
you're not Beeline, dude.
No.
You're not Beeline.
Nah, but Izzo's going to have my guys going. So, yep.
Izzo's gonna
MSU, whatever it is, I'll be betting it.
It's a loss. It's a true loss for MSU if they lose that game. At home, rivalry.
They can't.
They're the better
they can't-
team.
They can't lose.
Yeah, if that happened though, that'd be a serious problem. But
Yeah,
yeah,
they
I
can't
agree.
lose.
Hit that line. Hit that MSU line. Whatever
Please
it
do.
is.
Please do. But
Probably plus 60 or minus 60.
that's it, man. What an episode. It's going to be fun. Last week of the regular season and the College Football National Championship. What a week it's going to be.
First episode of 2023. Big year for this juiced up crew. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be a good one. Enjoy the ride with us. We will see you guys next week on Squeeze the Juice. Peace out, y'all.
Have a good one. We all love you. Continue to squeeze it. And like Justin said, peace.